Yeah.
So, let's see. I'd like to ask you first. Basically, what have you been up to since the last tour? What have you guys been up to?
Got about half an hour. Well, we finished the tour about mid-February, something like that, and it took like about 3 or 4 weeks just blah, rest. Well, it's a stupid word, just away from music, kind of, just hang out, do your own thing for a little while. And we're gonna meet up in at home in Frisco in mid-March, then, and start writing new songs for the new Metallica album. But what had happened is that since like me and James have got our own place now, we didn't have a rehearsal studio, so basically, like, we didn't have a place to jam, so we got thrown into this rehearsal studio, like really kind of like fancy, clean, like, really uppity kind of rehearsal studio.
Yeah.
And so we're jamming in there for a couple of days, and just getting our shit back together, true Metallica style, fucking cover versions and just bullshit for days, like jamming on different instruments. I was playing guitar and James was playing drums, just like wasting a couple of days of just having fun, actually. And every day we'd say, tomorrow we'll start writing the new songs, but let's just fuck around for a little while longer. So I think on like after 4 days of this fucking, like, okay, we needed a day off because it was so extensive and so tiring to like do all this fucking around. So we took a day off from this, and then James went out skateboarding again and busted his arm, like broke it in like 2 places, and really kind of fucked himself up a lot worse than he'd done last time. So so just as we were like getting ready to do this songwriting shit, that happened. So I mean, that basically put things on hold kind of for about 8 weeks, because I mean, to try and start writing songs without James's rhythm guitar playing would like be pretty useless, because so much of the songs of the songwriting, especially in the early stages of the songwriting, is like based around a lot of his rhythm playing. So I mean, that basically fucked things up for about 8 weeks. We're gonna do like Saturday Night Live and some other shit, which just got fucked. But so that was so like from March through May, we didn't really do a lot band-wise. But what we did was that I just got in a house together, and what we decided was that since we were like really uncomfortable in this rehearsal place that we had ended up in, like, and first 3 albums were all done and written and like things like that in garages, and since I think we're nothing more than garage band anyway, we looked at like this garage thing that I had, and we decided that would be pretty cool to like try and turn that into like a jam room or whatever. And so basically, like through April and May, while James's arm was healing and shit like that, we like got this like garage thing really happening. And as opposed to like the first time when over at me and James's house, we like didn't really have any money, so it was like a real shitty job, just a few air crates, a bit of carpet. But this time, since obviously there's a bit more like money available now, we could like do a really cool job with it. So we like really build it, not necessarily nice, but we build it
Comfortable?
No, we built it really, really soundproof, so we wouldn't get any shit from any of the neighbors or anything. So spend about 7 or 8 weeks on that. And should really give credit to Jason, because he was like the main man of that shit. I mean, Kurt was out doing his toy thing, and James you know, I had only one arm, and I was fucking sleeping all day like I usually do. And you know, Jason would come over to my house like at 9 in the morning after drinking, you know, fucking coffee and Jolt Cola for a couple hours. You know, come over, start hammering around in the fucking garage. I'm up there trying to sleep, you know, very annoying. But Jason was really like the main man, or at least he was like the organizer of this garage thing. So it took its time, and you know, it got done really well and put some money into it. Just like I said, it's not nice, but it's very soundproof, which is like the main thing. We could jam in there 24 hours a day as long as we want, which is cool.
Right.
But you know, it's starting to smell, which is what happens when you put 4 Metallicas in a room. But so you know, we just got back to jamming then, like in early June, after James got his cast and all that shit off, and so basically, you know, continue where we left off. You know, we were gonna start writing, but we started like again playing all these cover songs, which is what we always do, and just fucking around, having a good time, taking things very unseriously. So we were playing these cover songs and just thought that it could be pretty cool to like actually record some of them and like even release them. And I mean the idea with that, I don't know if I'm getting ahead of you or whatever.
No, this is.
But I mean, basically that whole thing then came together through June. If you ask me since what we've been doing, so a couple of weeks in June, we just did this thing with these songs, and then the first week of July down in LA, we recorded it like 6 days.
So it was all really like quick and like kind of.
Yeah,
raw.
I think. I mean, as you know, this is Garage Days revisited. We did.
You did NYC one.
Yeah, which was like Garage Days Revisited, which was the first one, and I mean, it's something that we've liked doing for many years. I mean, ever since we started, we were just playing cover songs, but like never playing Judas Priest or
Maybe more obscure
yeah,
stuff.
just it's more fun playing that sort of stuff, and so I mean, we've always liked doing this sort of shit, but the whole thing. So from that point of view, it's not really a new thing, but from we decided to do it till it was done, like this very EP was like 4 weeks or whatever. So it was like the whole thing went really quick, which is like cool. I think it's got a real sort of instant feel to it, just blah, And so we went down and recorded it, and then we've been like just rehearsing some of the older stuff because we have to do these festivals
in Europe, right?
So wherever you want to take it from.
Well, I'd like to talk about each of the songs on the record. Like why you chose. I mean, it seemed to me like even before I heard the record, when I was told what songs you were covering, I mean, I went back and I listened to some of the versions, some of the original versions, and I was like, it seemed like a lot of the songs that you picked were like almost like tailor-made for your style, because they had like certain elements in them, like the guitar
Well, I mean,
sound
even more so, that's a good point, but I mean, even more so, like, one song is very, very big influence. I mean, Helpless.
Well,
Helpless, like, very, I mean, Helpless to me, I mean, that's like one of the first, I wouldn't use the word, because I hate using those words, thrash or speed, but it's like, that's one of those first songs from back in that time period that sort of points in that direction of like up-tempo, riffing kind of song. And I mean, that's a big influence. That was like one of the first cover songs we did way back like when we started in '81. And so from that point of view, definitely close to home.
Well, Diamond Head is a big influence on you guys. That, like,
well, I'm not sure you should say is, but you could probably say was, yeah.
Was.
A very big influence when we started, yeah, in terms of just how they like got their shit together in the songwriting, and all the stuff based around heavy guitar riffs, and with the tempo changes and the mood changes and all that was definitely a very, very big influence from them. And I mean, to this day, they're still one of my like top 5 favorite bands. I mean, whatever you look at it. So I mean, definitely a big influence. And don't know, just one day me and James were jamming and just started playing that riff in Helpless, and we just played it. And it felt, I mean, you know, like a month, 2 months ago, we hadn't really played that song since like, you know, '82 or something, and just started playing it again. It felt fucking great, and so definitely that has to go on.
With the second song, that was the only band that I hadn't previously heard.
Yeah, they were like,
you could tell me about
so
them?
obscure. Well, I mean, they're from Scotland, and as you know, they're called Holocaust. From what I know about them, from, you know, being interested in that time period, apparently they must have had like some financial backing or something, because they were like a fucking completely small, obscure band out of nowhere that all of a sudden like released like 3 albums within about 2 years on their own label, and they did like a home video and like really trying to like the kind of situation where it seems like some band that's got, you know, big backing, or you know, like some band that's got, you know, rich dad or whatever. I mean, no offense to them if they're reading this, but they never really did very much. I don't know, they were like they had a bit of a cult following for, you know, about a half hour or so back in '81, '82, and I have some of the early records. This track is from, I think, their last album, but I'm not quite sure. It's from '83, and it's from a live album that they put out. And just really good song. Always really liked it, and just thought that you're just playing it and just, I mean, it's so perfect Metallica style, and slow, crunchy riffing, you know, real heavy, and it's cool.
With the Killing Joke song, is that, I mean, do you think that'll surprise some of your fans that you're, you know, into a band like Killing Joke, or not your typical?
Yeah, I must admit, I'm not really very much into Killing Joke, simply because I don't know very much about it. Basically, that song came about. We were jamming one day, just fucking around as usual, and Kurt started playing that main riff in that song, and we all started playing along with it, because fairly basic riff, but real bouncy, real jumpy, got a real good feel to it. So I'm just playing along, and the other guys kick in with it. And it was like, I didn't even know at that time that it was that. I just thought it was like a riff he'd come up with or something. And so it turned out to be this Killing Joke thing, because I don't really know too much I mean, they're not really, Kurt knows about that first album, but I don't really know too much about him. I don't think any of the kids out there really know too, I mean, you know, they don't know any of these bands hardly. So it's a cool song. It's a little different from the rest of them, because, as you know, Killing Joke had a little more, it's mostly, the other bands like, kind of like metal bands apart from Fits, but I mean, Killing Joke's a little more wave-ish kind of, I think they were like, again, like, I hate tags and all this shit, but they were like more of a, I think, perceived as like a bit of a new wave band or something.
Well, they were kind of weird because they had elements of metal and funk.
Yeah, and then huge doomy fucking gloom fucking, interesting. You heard Faith No More?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of that direction a little bit. Huge fucking drums going and shit, but
heavy bass riffs.
Yeah, but well, I mean, the point is that it didn't matter, and still doesn't, who did the songs. I mean, the thing that matters is that these songs sounded good and sounded right when we were playing them, and a couple other songs that we were jamming on that, you know, sounded good to our ears when we were listening to them, but didn't like really feel right when we were playing them, you know. So,
was there anything that you guys did like jam on that you didn't make it to the record?
Yeah. No, fuck.
Fecal matter.
It's like, oh gee, I think I could fucking hide up here from you.
No.
Huh? What are you doing?
I came to abuse you.
Really? What's up, man?
Finish your interview, I'll talk to you later.
Alright, see ya. What were we talking about?
Is there anything that didn't make it to the record like you guys just
Yeah, there's a couple things, but I don't need to say what, because who knows where they might show up at a later date. So, you know, I mean, this was so much fun, and it has been so much fun, and I mean, playing other people's stuff and cover versions, I mean, has been I think a fairly big part, well, not a big, but it's been definitely part of the Metallica vibe for ever since we started. So I had a sneak feeling this is not the last cover record that we're doing. So
Maybe
you know
more
what I mean?
B-sides or something.
Yeah, B-side. I mean, whatever. It's just whatever. I mean, the whole thing. Like I said, this record was so instant and spontaneous. Not maybe the idea itself of us doing cover songs, as you know, because that's something we've been doing for a long time, but just putting it out, and who knows, 2 years we'll fuck, let's do another one or whatever. So I mean, we'll see what happens. There were other songs that we were jamming on, but you know, we'll keep it quiet for now.
But those are the only ones you recorded.
Oh, in the studio?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the last two songs, because I always wanted to ask you this even before the record came out, but like, you guys are always wearing like Misfits and Sammy t-shirts and stuff like that. And, what is the connection there? You guys are all really big Misfits fans.
Yeah, Cliff, like one day just fucking popped this tape in that you could listen to, and like fucking James got really into it really quickly, and then Kirk, and then I sort of tagged along last. But yeah, I mean, definitely huge fucking fans of them. Yeah, I mean, like the 2 albums that they put out and all the EPs and all that, you know, especially like a couple of years ago. I mean, fucking listen to it almost every day, and you know, Kurt knows Glenn really well.
Yeah.
And you know, just he trades toys with him and fucking comic books and all that shit. But I mean, fucking huge underground band. That it's too bad they never did much, because I mean, they were way ahead of their time. They fucking really had some cool shit back then.
It seems like, I mean, now the last
Here the last 2 years they never were together, which is kind of strange.
Do you think that has anything to do with the fact that, you know, you guys kind of like endorsed them, so to speak? I mean, it seems like, you know, nobody really knew who they were, and especially in the metal.
Well, I mean, we're the kind of band, as you know, that it's like, I mean, we're very personal, you know, in interviews and talking to people, and it's like, if we like something, we tell people we like it. If we don't like something, we tell people we don't like it. So, obviously, everyone knows how much we like the Misfits, so if some kid somewhere, like, you know, reads like, well, these guys like the Misfits, you know, maybe I should check them out or something, you know, so it's cool. I mean, definitely fucking, they were just way ahead of their time is like one thing that's like I think of now when I listen to it, which is like cool. Like back when they were doing that stuff, there was like no one doing that kind of shit. It's like they were about 2 years ahead of their time or something. It's weird. But
is there any reason you picked those 2 songs in particular? I know Green Hell though. I mean that's so weird. I mean that sounds so much like Metallica when you listen to the other one. But
Last Caress, just fucking good song. It's kind of, I think Last Caress, even though the lyrics and all that, I mean, I think Last Caress is a very, very melodic song. I mean, that melody in the guitar riff.
50s-ish.
Yeah, it's, to me it sounds like a cross between like early Ramones. It's just very melodic, even though, I mean, you don't like say Misfits, oh that's real melodic, but it's a very melodic song. And we just, I don't know, on the last tour we started playing it at sound checks once in a while. And you know, we always wanted to do Green Hell. That was like Cliff's little baby kind of thing. And then it was like
I'd heard a rumor maybe about a year and a half ago or so that you guys were going to do that on a B-side or something. Now,
yeah, it didn't happen because James broke his arm the first time.
Yeah.
But you know, Green Hell was like really Cliff's thing, and when we were gonna do it this time, I always thought that, you know, no disrespect to Jason, but we didn't know if it would like feel right to do it without Cliff, because like, I mean, that was like really his thing, kind of, I think. And so we played it anyway, and it felt fucking good enough, so we did it. So I mean, those two just, you know, fit well together. They're kind of like a bit opposite from each other and shit. So it's cool, obnoxious way to end the EP.
Have you heard Danzig yet?
No, I haven't. I saw Rick Rubin out in LA a couple weeks ago. He was going to play me the tape, but then we end up like missing each other. Maybe I'll give him a call today or something. Have you heard it?
No, I was supposed to go next week to some guy named Scott Koenig. He was supposed to play for me next week. But, I've heard good things about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like, it seems like anything that fucking Rick puts his hand on turns to gold, so it's weird. You haven't talked about the Budgie song.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, that was the one thing on the record that was a bit older.
Yeah.
Than the other things. Is that something you wanted to do, like to put on something a little older
No,
as well?
I mean, you gotta understand that these songs, they have nothing to do with if it's new, old, who they're done by. It's like these songs were what we wanted to do because they sounded cool when we were playing them. We had good fun playing them, and whether they were by fucking Bumfuck or by someone else, I mean, it didn't matter. It's old, new, whatever. Yeah, it's a cool, crunchy song that, you know, like really sounded cool when we were playing it. And it's like, Budgie, I think, is one of the most underrated bands of the 70s because they had about 7 or 8 albums out back then. They really fucking had some cool stuff, I think. Especially like the first 3 or 4 records, like Squawk and Never Turn You Back on a Friend, and some of that shit fucking really good. And this album that this track is from, Into the Kill, is like really good. Just played it and it just felt right. So you know, the only thing we've done is like added solo here. I think we just added a few things. I don't think there was a solo in the original, and tuned it a step down D, make it a bit heavier, and it's cool.
Well, even them, I mean, because they never really were that popular here either. Do you think
they were kind of big for about 5 minutes in England.
Yeah.
But then I don't think they ever did shit in there.
It was hard. I mean, people really didn't hear about them that much. I remember when I was a kid, I heard of them. I had one of their albums.
I think they were always like, sort of, I don't know. I think some people like just consider them like a poor man's Black Sabbath or something. I don't know. It's weird. Like Black Sabbath without the personalities of Ozzy, because I mean, a lot of their early albums were produced by the Roger Bain guy who did all the early Sabbath stuff too. I mean, some of the shit really in the Sabbath direction without necessarily ripping it off. Just
it's got that heaviness.
Huh?
It's got the heaviness.
Yeah, it's got that slow, crunchy fucking shit to it. It's really cool.
Do you think, I mean, overall, like looking at the EP, doing a lot of the bands that, like you mentioned, the Misfits and Budgie, are both kind of like bands that were underrated, maybe? Do you think that you're kind of...
Yeah,
make people,
I mean, yeah,
I
I understand what you're saying, and I probably agree with it, but I want you to understand, and this is very important, that, I mean, we didn't pick any of these songs because, for any other motive than because we wanted to play the song. I mean, whether the band was underrated or not, or it's not like, well, let's see, what 5 bands can we do favors for? I mean, it was not like that. We recorded these 5 songs because we wanted to record them and had a lot of fun playing them. We thought it would be like a cool, fun, different thing to release them. And that's it, period. I mean, there are no other motives as far as the bands are concerned. You know, I mean, obviously these bands are going to get, a bit more recognition now, fine. But I mean, and they're going to get some money, which I'm probably very happy about. But, apart from that, I mean, it's not really any other reason. At least for the picking of the songs, themselves.
Right. Let's see. How is
that guy's very offensive looking.
I mean, he's
annoying. Red hair or what?
He's really annoying.
Anyway. It's a very offensive officer. How the fuck did we end up in here?
I don't know.
Anyway.
Going on a different tack, I was curious how Jason was working out after having been with him for like 9 months or whatever.
Yeah, fucking, he's, well, I mean, I've already said, like, 1,000 times before how great a bass player he is and all that, so, I mean, obviously everyone knows by now how fucking talented a bass player he is, but I think he's really starting to, like in the beginning, obviously, like when you join a band that's as established as us, it's like you sort of go out of your way like to kind of fit in as much as possible, you know. And I think now he's like sort of past that stage where he's like trying to fit in, where he's trying like he's starting to now develop like his own thing. You know what I mean? Like, 'cause I think Metallica is made up of people that are very, very different from each other in person, have like very strong individual personalities, and you know, he's starting to really get his own thing together too, if you know what I mean. And you know, yeah, I mean, couldn't be better. He's fucking so energetic, though it gets a bit annoying after a while. I mean, it's like the guy's like a fucking, I mean, he's like so energetic. It's like, you know, Metallica, we take things easy, whatever. Fucking things happen, blah, blah, blah. And I mean, this guy drink fucking these Jolt Cola things all day, you know, and fucking runs around, go, ah, all day. And it's like, in the same way that it's given the rest of us a bit of a kick in the ass, it's also like, hey, Jason, fucking slow down for a second, you know? This is Metallica, fucking, you know, not in a hurry, you know. So, I mean, no, but, yeah, I mean, it couldn't be better.
How do you find playing with him as compared to playing with Cliff?
I don't really think of it like that. Jason obviously has a lot different style than Cliff, and
He uses a pick instead of...
yeah, it's not maybe as left field as Cliff's playing obviously was, but it definitely fits in very well. And he's a very, very tight bass player, and I mean the shit is sounding really tight at the moment. Actually, not for the first time, but it's weird, like, because the last 2 weeks we've just been like rehearsing for these gigs, because we hadn't played any of the old songs for like 8 months or whatever, 6 months. So it sounds really tight. It's the first time, like, the overall sound is like really, really tight at the moment, and I think a lot of his bottom end he's like a really tight bass player, and you know, it's cool. But I mean, I don't. When we're sitting playing, I don't. Well, Cliff used to do this, and I mean, you know. So I mean, it's cool. Couldn't fucking be any better.
Is he like, how is he contributing to like any new material? Like, have you written anything yet, like during sound
Nothing.
checks? Or?
Nothing. We have, as we're speaking, August 10th, no new songs. No, it's just like basically every time we're gonna sit down and get ready to write new songs, something happens. You know, James Burke's hour. We decided to do this EP thing instead, whatever. And I want to make sure that people don't think. As we're speaking, literally, we have no new songs written, but I want to make sure that people know that I don't want to fucking start any like rumors or anything. I mean, we're not. It's not like because we're having trouble or anything like that. Just picture these rumors. Metallica has trouble with songwriting. It's just simply we haven't sat down and started yet. Period. It's like, you know, we're not in a hurry to fucking, you know, there's no deadline or anything. I mean, part of what Metallica is all about is just taking things as they come. And we thought we would start writing in March or whatever. And now it's August and we still haven't written anything. But I mean, there's a fucking ton of shit ready to go as soon as we sit down writing when we come back from these festivals. And I mean, we have way more ideas and riffs and things like that than ever before. I think the quality of it's a lot higher than it's ever been too. And it's not like we have, you know, a couple of good riffs and a couple of so-so riffs and a bunch of shit stuff. It's like there's hella stuff that's really good. It just needs to put into song shape. But so like definitely there are no problems with that. It's just that we haven't done any of it yet. But a lot of the stuff that Jason's come up with is fucking really cool. Fits in great. And it's just a matter, like I said, of getting down and like getting it together.
When you go to write something, do you like have any idea what it's going to be like ahead of time, or does it just come out totally from the moment?
What, in general or with the new stuff?
Both. So I know, but
well, the new stuff seems to be like a sort of, I mean, like I said, I can't really say much about it because it's like,
it's all bits and pieces.
Because no, it's not really together yet. It seems it's like a cool 2 year down the line sort of continuation of where we left off. the last album without it necessarily. I mean, it's definitely progression in some direction. I'm not sure which way, but I'm not sure it needs to be in any way. It's just, I mean, definitely 2 years better, 2 years, you know, a lot of different things. I think also the stuff that I'm hearing and the ideas that are there are definitely, it's not like we're playing it safe and just doing another, you know, Puppets album or whatever. I mean, the stuff on there is obviously Metallica, but it's, you know,
Well, it's evolved. I mean, each year out
yeah.
is
I mean,
more
it's just
evolved than the last
it's a
one.
natural continuation of that, and I don't really want to talk too much about the new stuff because there isn't really much to say, and it's like a lot of times if you say something about it, people misinterpret it or something. So, I mean,
Yeah.
we're gonna sit down and start writing when we come back from these festivals in Europe, and that's it. Really.
Going back much earlier, what were your early influences like when you were growing up in Denmark?
Mine,
Yeah.
personally, I've always been and still is a huge Deep Purple freak. I know of those classic bands, you know, the Purple and the Sabbath, and I was always most into Purple. They were like bigger in Europe than any of the other bands. Zeppelin was always like the big band over here, but in Europe it was Purple, at least around where I was from. And I don't know, just, you know, into a lot of mostly, you know, European stuff. Just like, I don't know, European, up till, you know, last couple of years, European stuff always sounded a little raw or touch more aggressive, you know, a little more punchy, you know, than a lot of the American stuff up through the 70s was quite a bit more polished, you know. And so, you know, I was a lot into, like, you know, grew up on bands like Deep Purple, Uriah Heep, was really into Sweet at the time, and obviously I think as everyone else in the world had, you know, your year or two of being into Kiss, you know. Like, show me fucking someone in their mid-20s who at one point weren't into Kiss for 5 years. So, and, you know, other bands like Slade and stuff like that.
What got you into playing drums?
I was, more, in those early days back in the 70s, I was playing a lot of tennis.
Okay.
You know, I was playing a lot of tennis back then, and, you know, I don't know how that drumming shit came about. Just music itself was like my escape away from the fucking bullshit of tennis. Like, it was like, you know, I was playing a lot of tennis, and music was like my main interest apart from that, because tennis was so disciplined and music wasn't. So it was like a cool opposite. I don't know. I can't tell you. It's just, I don't know.
So check, see how things were doing.
Yeah. Did you find that?
Could you start wrapping things up a little bit?
Okay.
I'm sorry. we're
What's
just
that
pressed
one
for
there?
time. This is the Motley Crew. It's an import single. You can have it if you want. I don't know. I should give you well, no, open it up.
Not
Open
to be
it up.
sold to persons under 18. Come on. Fuck. Yeah, why don't we just get on and close the door?
Okay.
Oh,
For demonstration
Okay.
purposes. That's okay.
thanks.
Okay.
Let's see. I don't know, it was funny because we always used to, like, get these fucking jam bands together back then, like just, you know, air bands or whatever, like fucking always pretend that we were Deep Purple, and like I had like one of these fucking tabletop football games, you know, the things, flick soccer thing. That was like the keyboards and a tennis racket, and then another tennis racket was like bass and guitar, and I had some cardboard boxes with these fucking, you know, these things that you stir paint with.
Yeah.
Those were my drumsticks, and for some reason I was always just the guy sitting beating on the cardboard boxes, where like my friends playing keyboards on this tabletop soccer game and shit like that. And fucking remember, used to have like a broom like a broom shaft for like a vocal thing or whatever. And for some reason, I was just beating on the fucking cardboard boxes. So one day, like at about 77 or something, I remember fucking like begging my grandmother. I was like down on my knees, fucking, if I could have a drum kit, and fucking happened. So, I mean, I was completely clueless. I didn't take it serious because, like I said, it was just like an escape away from the tennis shit. So for like 3 years or anything, I didn't take any lessons. I just fucking sat and pretended that I was like Ian Pace from Deep Purple or something, you know, and fucking went boot cat and, you know, fucking, yeah, look at me. I can play drums, I'm sure.
One thing I always really wanted to ask you is, I mean, I noticed that as early as like the stuff on Kill 'Em All that wasn't written by Dave. There was a lot of the stuff was, you know, you and James. And even today you're on a lot of the songwriting credits, and most drummers aren't. So I was wondering what's your input to the songs?
Well, me and James, it's like, I don't know, when me and James have been getting the songs together, it's like, he, you know, comes up, you know, obviously with a lot of guitar riffs, and me and him work really well together with like getting the songs together as songs. That's like the thing that I do, like the sort of overall song shit.
Arrangements?
Well, more, yeah, arrangements is one thing, but like ideas in the song, you know, I can't play, you know, very much guitar or anything like that, but it's like, you know, James got it, you know, cool riff. It's like we'll sit down and, you know, I have my drum kit and his guitar. And well, how about, you know, something, you know, an opening that's fucking, you know, like on the toms, you know, with fucking some accents in there. And then, like, I can get a lot of things that I hear in my mind, like ideas for different parts and things like that. I can like tell him what it is that I hear, and then he can like put it into fucking notes and shit like that. So a lot, you know, like main song ideas and just, you know, how the fucking flow of the song should be, and like cool, you know, bridges and things like that. You know, but it's a lot more than arrangement, I think, because arrangement is just saying, okay, we're gonna play fucking, you know, 2 bars or 4 bars or whatever. So I mean, it's like general song ideas, you know, that I think have just, I mean, that definitely have, you know, a lot to do with obviously how the songs end up, you know. But I mean, it's just something that's, you know, worked well, just me and him getting it together. And obviously he has the guitar riffs, and I have a lot of like the general ideas for the songs, for, you know, the mood changes and the tempo changes and things like that, you know, because I think a lot of the basic sound of Metallica is centered around the rhythm guitar and the drums, you know, because that's where a lot of it is written, you know, so.
Okay, do you know if we have to...
No, go ahead, don't fuck it.
I was just weird off-the-wall question. I was just curious if any of you guys were into H.P. Lovecraft. Because I noticed a couple of these songs, like, what they're called Cthulhu.
Yeah, very much so, yeah.
Excuse me, I just have to look.
Yeah,
thing that should not
yeah,
be-
Cliff was the one that was really, yeah, Cliff was the one that brought the whole Cthulhu thing in, and since then James and Kurt have been reading a lot of that. I know that even one of these wonderful people here at this record company fucking sent, it was James's birthday last week, sent him like a couple of Lovecraft books, and you know, it's some cool stuff in there. I myself am not as into it as, for instance, James is at the moment, but Cliff was really the one that initiated a lot of that stuff. And, you know, the Cthulhu stuff and all that shit.
How do you guys feel about the fact that you've become so popular without... Well, I mean, you have. I mean,
Yeah.
you could say you haven't, but yeah, I mean, as popular as you have without, you know, a lot of radio play and TV videos and all that stuff. You're like, you're pretty much the biggest the biggest band in America that doesn't do that.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, I think a lot of the same fucking ideas and attitudes and shit like that that fucking went into the early days of the band are still there very much in the same way, and it's like, I don't know, really enjoy being different. It's something that fucking is really cool, being different, and it's like, I think we've always tried to like avoid the obvious and always try to fucking, it's more fun for ourselves, it's not like for business reasons or anything like that, but it's more fun when we're getting shit together or when we're, you know, trying to get some stuff sorted out to like, instead of doing always the obvious, it's more fun to try and do something a bit different.
Right.
And you could apply that, you know, in a lot of different ways, but I mean, let's say video, it's fucking, it's like, who needs to, I mean, it's like everyone else is doing videos, we're doing fine without them, and it's like, you know, it's cool not to have a video, you know, and it's cool not to have, I mean, I'm not saying that it won't happen if we get radio airplay, fine, I'm not going to say no airplay, or, you know, we'll never do a video, because maybe we'll get airplay one day, maybe we'll fucking do a video, but if it happens, it will be on our terms, and if it happens, it's something that comes from within and not something that comes from outside because someone fucking tell, oh, okay, now you have to do a video. I mean, we'll do a video if we fucking want to.
Exactly.
And if it feels right. And you know, a couple of years ago, it was like, it's really funny with this video stuff now because it's like, a couple of years ago, it's like, wow, we don't want to be like all these other AOR bands and doing videos, you know. And like now it's like, we don't want to be like all these other fucking underground metal bands that are doing videos. Like amazing how all these fucking metal bands like starting to churn out videos now. It's really funny. But I'm perfectly happy not doing videos, and I mean, it's just like, you know, it's, you know, we really get off on fucking being different, and it's fun.
That's something that you like wanted to do, like when you, I mean, when you first started, your sound was so different than almost any of the other bands at the time. Is that like how you kind of formulated it? Did it just come out from just the way you and James got together?
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, it's very important to understand that we're not the sort of people. Hi.
Hi. I'm sorry for interrupting. It's just how much
That's
longer
okay.
you just
No, we're wrapping it up.
great. It's a little crazy
Yeah.
here. That's
You
all.
look a little hungover there.
Oh, I'm so. How are you feeling?
I'm all right. A
Yeah.
bottle of this before you go to bed.
I
Cures
know.
hangovers in the morning.
I know. All right. Well, anyway.
See you in a second. Yeah.
Okay.
What were we at? I was about to say something very important.
You
Yeah,
were-
I think it's important to understand. Oh my God, that's terrible.
Oh.
Oh, fuck. Can I ask you a question? Is there anything extremely special about this one?
That doesn't look X-rated to me. I don't know.
Anyway, I think it's important to understand that fucking. I mean, it's like, what were you asking? I forgot. And I mean, please don't leave till you feel that you.
Oh no, I'm fine. No, I was asking like when you guys first got together, and you know, you and James started writing or whatever, and
Right.
kind of got the idea for the band.
Well, I
Is
think
that
a lot of
familiar?
the early influences musically, if you're talking musically, a lot of the early influences was so far apart. It's like kind of took a little bit from here and a little bit from someone completely different and a little bit from here, and sort of just melted the whole thing together and just tried, and then obviously threw in our own ideas and our own desire to be like, do something different and do something a bit out of the ordinary, and that way it just ended up kind of just sounding a little different. I don't know, I've just always had the attitude that it's like, it's more fun to try and do something new instead of just doing what everyone else is doing and like just following along with whatever other fuckers doing, you know? And it's like more fun when you're trying. It's like, it's more fun to try and do it that way. Again, I'm not saying it's more fun to do something different from like a business point of view. We're saying, well, if we come up with a new sound, maybe we'll sell more records, or if we do a stupid EP full of garage covers, that would be really fucking, I mean, it's not like that. That would sell a lot of whatever. That would generate, I mean, it's fun from within. I think that's important, that it's like, the shit comes from within us, and we want to have fun with it, and it's more fun to try and get something different together when we're getting it together than just go, okay, verse, chorus, solo, see ya, you know. So I mean, it's just more of a challenge to fucking try and do something different, you know.
Okay. I guess we better go because I don't want to get them upset.
Yeah, but I mean, if
I asked them
anything
almost all my questions. Do you think that'll, be helpful or anything? Because it's a bigger label.
helpful. I don't know. They offered the best deal. I mean, basically the independent thing ran out, and so we were open for a new record contract, and I mean, we got some serious record contracts because what's cool about our situation is that are you taping this?
Yeah.
What's cool about our situation is that we got like the fucking god music lawyer ever, and I mean, it's like we get these situations where we own our own shit, which is like a really unique situation to be in. So like, for instance, this European stuff, it's like Metallica owns the records. It's not like, it's like we own the record and give them to Polygram to fucking release.
Distribute.
Right. So it's like we have the final say in everything. It's not like they can say, well, we want to do a picture disc, and we'll say no, and then they say, well, fuck you, and they do it anyway. It's like everything that comes out comes from us because we own it. It's a very unique situation to be in because, like I said, we got really cool record deal, and so it's like basically we're like completely in control of like everything.
That's great.
Which is like the best situation, obviously, to be in, you know. So we just signed with them for Europe, and it's cool. Good people.
Great. Well, I better go. I really,
Relax.
I really appreciate it a lot. Not only you guys are one of my favorite bands, but I always wanted to let you guys know I really admire, that whole thing you would tell me about, being different. It's like so many bands sound the same. It's great to have, a band that you can like admire for that.
Cool. Thanks. Appreciate it.
So,
Cool. Faces.
yep.
Look forward. All right. We got one of the tour programs there.
Yep. It has a really good bio in it.
Oh.
It has a really good bio.
Yeah.
A lot of like interesting little facts.